All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep into a skill that, let's be honest, absolutely essential for any Level 6 Project Controls apprentice, Skill S6. Now it might sound a little technical, but it's really all about creating the master blueprint that ensures a project's success. And we're going to break it all down by following the journey of an apprentice who's probably a lot like you.
So let's meet Jody. She's a Level 6 Project Controls apprentice at a company called Ibis Stores, and she's standing right where many of you might be right now, at the beginning of a really important journey.
And Jody, she's ambitious. She's not just trying to get through her apprenticeship. Nope, she's looking to really master the skills that are going to help her build an amazing career.
And just like that, boom, her manager drops a huge new responsibility on her plate. This is going to be a real test, one that's going to push her to get to grips with one of the most vital skills in all of project controls.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to follow Jody as she figures out this challenge, learns how to build that master blueprint, walks through the 5 key steps to getting it right, and, super important, figures out how to prove she's actually mastered the skill. All right, first things first. What is this big challenge we're talking about? Well, it all boils down to one specific skill in the apprenticeship standard, good old S6.
Her mentor, a guy named Adam, puts it pretty simply. He says, look, Skills S6 is basically about creating the official rulebook for the project. It's you deciding exactly how you're going to track, measure, and report on everything. The goal? No confusion. Just total, crystal clear clarity.
And then her manager, Riddle, comes in and makes it super real. She's like, Jody, for this new marketing campaign, I can't be guessing. I need to know exactly where we are, all the time. See, this isn't just for a grade. It's about needing that single source of truth to make sure the project doesn't go off the rails.
Okay, so the pressure's on. Where does Jody even start with something this big? Luckily, her mentor Adam has a great way to think about it. He tells her, just imagine you're building a house.
And this is where it clicks. Skill S6 really has 2 main pieces. On one hand, you have the project control plan. Think of this as the what. It's the master blueprint for the house with all the details. On the other hand, you have the reporting framework. That's the how. It's like the construction dashboard you'd have on site, the thing you look at every day to see if you're on track with the blueprint. You absolutely need both. So to actually build that blueprint, Jody has to figure out a few things. First, what are the big contextual elements she needs to keep an eye on? Things like cost, schedule, and scope. Then she has to be upfront about her working assumptions. What is she just assuming to be true? Like maybe that her team members will be available. And finally, she has to pick the right KPIs, the key performance indicators. These are your gauges, things like the Cost Performance Index, or CPI, and the Schedule Performance Index, SPI, that tell you if you're winning or losing. And here is the absolute key takeaway. This whole thing, it is not about collecting data just to have it. The entire point is to generate data that is meaningful and, most importantly, actionable. It has to give Riddle's team the insights they need to make smart calls and keep the project moving forward. Okay, so Jody gets the what and the why, but how does she actually get there? Well, Adam, her mentor, doesn't just leave her hanging. He lays out a really clear 5-step journey to get her from apprentice to a true pro. Let's walk through it. See how this works? It's a progression. She starts with the absolute fundamentals in step 1, just understanding the pieces like scope, schedule, and cost. Then she builds on that until, by step 5, she's not just part of the team, she's leading the whole process. It's like climbing a ladder, and each step gets you higher. Let's dig into step 2 for a second. Implementation. This is where the rubber meets the road. Jody's not just thinking anymore, she's doing. She's building the structure of the plan, picking the right software, like MS Project or Primavera, and making sure the whole thing actually works for her company, Ibis Stores. And then we hit step 3, which is all about reporting. This is where she builds that dashboard we were talking about. She's got to pick the right KPIs, design templates that make sense, decide if reports are weekly or monthly. The goal here is to make the data so clear and easy to read that anyone, especially Riddle, can understand the project's health in a glance. Okay, now for the part that every single apprentice watching this needs to pay close attention to. Proving you can actually do it. This is where Jody's coach, Olivia, steps in. Her job is to help Jody think about her evidence for her portfolio, and for that big final exam, the Endpoint Assessment, or EPA. And Olivia asks the million-dollar question. It's great that you're doing the work, but how are you going to prove you've mastered Skill S6? Because let's face it, It's not what you know, it's what you can show. So let's get into the specifics of what you need to be collecting for your portfolio, whether you use Aptem or another system, and what those assessors are really looking for. So what does that proof look like? It has to be tangible stuff. We're talking about the actual, complete project control plan document you wrote, the reporting framework you designed. Show them the templates, maybe a dashboard screenshot. You'll need your documented assumptions, some real progress reports you generated, and hey, even the minutes from a review meeting you led. This is the hard evidence.
But here's a pro tip. The assessor doesn't just want a pile of paper. They are looking for the thinking behind the paper. Does your plan actually connect to the project's main goals? Is your reporting framework something people can actually use to make decisions? They want to see that you're not just a robot filling out templates, but that you're using the data to make smart recommendations. It's all about showing that professional judgment.
And the result for Jody? Well, she totally nailed it. Because she followed those steps and worked with Olivia to document everything properly, she didn't just create a fantastic blueprint for the marketing campaign, she also gave her manager exactly what she needed. And she had all the perfect evidence to prove her skills to the assessors. Win-win.
So, look, mastering skill S6 isn't just about passing a test or ticking a box for your apprenticeship. This is the real deal. It's the core skill you'll use for the rest of your career to bring control and clarity to any project you touch. Jody built her master blueprint. The only question left is, what will you build first? Thanks so much for joining this explainer.